For centuries, Ukraine's geographical position at the crossroads of East and West has shaped its destiny. Incorporated into the Soviet Union in the 20th century, Ukraine experienced a brutal period under Stalin's rule, marked by the Holodomor, a devastating famine engineered by the Soviet regime. This tragic event, which claimed millions of Ukrainian lives, remains a deeply ingrained scar on the nation's psyche. Despite the hardships endured, a distinct Ukrainian identity persisted, and with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine declared its independence. This pivotal moment marked a turning point for the country, offering a chance to break free from its Soviet past and forge a new path. However, this newfound independence also brought to the forefront the complexities of its relationship with its former imperial master, Russia. The embers of historical grievances and conflicting geopolitical aspirations smoldered for years. Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, yearned to reassert its dominance over its former territories. Ukraine, meanwhile, sought closer ties with the West, aspiring to join the European Union and NATO. These opposing desires set the stage for the conflict that would erupt in 2014. In 2014, Russia ignited the conflict by annexing the Crimean Peninsula, a Ukrainian territory with a majority Russian population. This act of aggression sent shockwaves through the international community and marked a turning point in Russia-Ukraine relations. The annexation was swift and strategic, exploiting existing divisions within Ukrainian society and catching the West off guard. Simultaneously, Russia instigated separatist movements in the eastern Ukrainian regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, collectively known as the Donbas. This region, with its significant Russian-speaking population and industrial importance, became a battleground fueled by Russian propaganda and military support. A brutal war ensued, claiming thousands of lives and displacing countless civilians. The conflict in Donbass settled into a bloody stalemate, with neither side able to achieve a decisive victory. The Minsk agreements, brokered by France, Germany, Russia, and Ukraine, sought to establish a ceasefire and a roadmap for peace. However, these agreements proved largely ineffective, with sporadic fighting and violations continuing. After years of simmering tensions and failed attempts at diplomacy, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022. This unprovoked act of aggression sent shockwaves through the world, shattering the post-Cold War order and plunging Europe into its largest conflict since World War II. Russian forces advanced on multiple fronts, targeting key cities and infrastructure, aiming for a swift and decisive victory. However, they were met with fierce resistance from the Ukrainian people. Led by the resolute President Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukrainians from all walks of life took up arms to defend their homeland. The Ukrainian military, bolstered by Western weapons and training, inflicted heavy casualties on the invading forces, stalling their advance and defying expectations. The international community responded with outrage and condemnation, imposing unprecedented sanctions on Russia and providing military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. The conflict has had far-reaching consequences, disrupting global supply chains, exacerbating energy crises, and fueling a refugee crisis not seen since World War II. As the war enters its third year in 2025, the situation remains dire. The conflict has morphed into a brutal war of attrition, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Russia, bogged down by logistical challenges, fierce resistance, and mounting casualties, has resorted to increasingly indiscriminate tactics, targeting civilian infrastructure and committing war crimes. Ukraine, heavily reliant on Western aid, faces an uphill battle, grappling with a devastated economy and a humanitarian crisis. The future trajectory of the conflict remains uncertain. Several scenarios are possible, ranging from a negotiated settlement to a protracted war of attrition. A negotiated peace, while desirable, seems unlikely in the near term, given the deep mistrust between the parties and the high stakes involved. A protracted war of attrition, with its devastating human and economic costs, appears as the most likely scenario. However, the outcome of such a conflict remains unpredictable. Much will depend on the continued resolve of the Ukrainian people, the level of Western support, and the internal dynamics within Russia. One thing is certain: the Russian-Ukrainian war has already profoundly reshaped the geopolitical landscape, and its consequences will continue to reverberate for years to come.